Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. We are back with another episode 143, joined with Nick Gwynn on the call. Connor Carson's here in the basement.
Yes, sir.
How we doing?
Doing great.
Terrible.
Interesting week of football.
This might be one of the worst weeks of football I've ever seen.
Worst weeks?
Not even coming from okay, yeah, it's cool, like a bunch of underdogs won, but just so much bad ball.
So
I just watched too much bad ball today.
So I'll say
yesterday.
this: if the Bears won on Sunday night, is it still just bad ball?
It was just a bad week. It'd be cool. I'd be like, yeah, I'd be talking my shit if the Bears won.
Underdog.
I'd be like, yeah, fucking Bears won. Be like, blah blah blah. But there was just too much bad stuff that happened. I just watch. I'm a fan of the game, dude.
Right.
I'm a fan. You're a fan of football first, then you're a fan of the Bears or the Vikings or whatever. But when you just watch teams mess up the easy stuff, it just from playing football and everything, you look at it, you're like, how the fuck does that even happen?
Right.
It's just very weird. About a bad ball from very good teams.
This is probably the most stuff we've had to talk about in maybe any episode we've ever done.
Probably the most underdogs that have ever won, 8 or something.
So a lot to get into. We can start out Thursday night though.
Yo.
Bills,
Forgot
Dolphins.
this game even happened.
Bills, even before the Tua injury, were taking care of business against the Dolphins. Dolphins had no answer for anything. Tua wasn't having the best game either before the injury, and then Tua goes down. That's mainly the headline now. Buffalo's going to win that game either way, but we can kind of talk about Tua and what that future looks like for him.
Yeah, it's just kind of tough for him to, I don't know, he learned how to slide and everything supposedly, and he was taking jiu-jitsu classes to figure out how to fall and everything, not hurt his head, and then he
goes head first.
He goes head first into Damar Hamlin, which is even scarier.
Yeah.
So it's just very, very odd that he decided to do that. With every you'd think he just wouldn't want to get tackled, or I get it, wanting to get the first down for your team, your competitor, the adrenaline was probably going through him and everything, but if I know I'm hurt, I've gone through all that, I'm not going head first.
Right.
I'm going into the ground, if anything. I'm not going straight into the person in front of me. If he just didn't know how many yards he needed, I don't know. But it's very, very scary.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, it sucked to watch. It's really sad because we kind of have to just sit here and wait for his decision and react to it. And then every time we watch him, we're all just kind of going to be sitting there waiting for it to happen again. Mm-hmm. Sadly. And I don't think he's going to retire.
No, I don't think he's going to retire either.
But, and I don't know if I feel like he should, but it's unfortunate, man. It really is. And he just got paid so much money. Mm-hmm. Just sucks.
It's interesting because, this is a concussion and a head injury to where, he's dealt with them before. In about a week's time, he's going to be feeling fine, back to it, not feeling any kind of pain throughout his body. It's not a knee or a shoulder or anything else. So it's only really going to be a mental thing, to say, I know a lot of people are going to be you should retire, but it's his decision at the end of the day. But he's going to be feeling fine in a week, and that's the scary part about it, to where there is a problem, but there really isn't no side effects or, in the now, in the present things that could affect him, but it's going to be the later on stuff down the line. But him retiring, I just don't see it happening, honestly.
No.
And it didn't even look like it. Obviously, the arm stretched out and everything else, but the hit itself didn't look like anything insanely bad, and it still happened. That's my biggest worry, to where it was kind of just a routine hit.
That's what
for the
Damar
most
Hamlin
part.
said. He said it was just a routine tackle.
Yeah. And it still led to that. So that's the main issue for me. It was is it just going to be to the point where, if it's any tackle, and if you're a defensive player, you don't want to,
are you going to think about
yes,
that?
or is that something you're going to think about like that?
Probably not.
Probably
if
not.
I'm on the defense and I know that, he has all this, during the game, you're definitely not thinking about that. Mm-mm. If I'm seeing him run for a first down, I'm going to go tackle him.
Right.
I don't care how it is. Yeah, I don't think he'll retire. They said that, I think Ryan Clark was talking about it, how, people are, nowadays, are just built, the players and stuff, they're just built different. They don't want to give up. They want to play. No matter what injury they're in, they want to play. They don't want to be done. And, he just got paid, like you said, 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. So it's just and if he were to retire,
he's still walking away with, 95
he would walk
million.
away with a lot of fucking money, and then that kind of screws the whole Dolphins franchise, if you think about it. Because I don't know how that works. I don't know how you do a medical thing with cap.
A medical
retire cap. Maybe it wipes away the cap. but then like I don't know, very confusing.
I would think if it was a situation like this and he did retire based off of a medical injury, I think it would not absolutely just kill the Dolphins.
I just want to know what their cap situation would be. Be like, do you just get all the money back? Or
I don't think you get all the money. I think the guaranteed money he would get.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
And then you get everything else back.
You might get everything else back.
Because it's not like the Dolphins' fault.
Yeah. So I think that's what it would be. Or you could make it, or it would be like possibly like a restructure to where like he gets his guaranteed money over time and he gets paid out long term, like his contract would say.
Maybe if they figure out that he's like retiring, they'd restructure it.
Yeah.
And be like, hey,
we'll pay you for the next 10 years of this
amount of money.
Yeah, of this amount of money, and then
whatever
of your guaranteed money, and then we'll keep. So it could be something like that. But I haven't seen any case like that in the NFL where like it would be, especially with that amount of money, to affect somebody's cap.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of screwed.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? There's no timetable for his return. I know that he's went and got Tyler Huntley, which isn't even a bad, probably the best backup in the league.
You can't have Skylar Thompson
going
in there.
So, I mean, if the Dolphins can just stay afloat, they're 1-1 right now. I mean, if they stay afloat, you never know about the Jets, even though they just squeaked out a win against the Titans this weekend. I mean, if they can stay afloat, who knows what can happen with this team. They still got a run game, a good defense. They have the best weapons to work in screen games and quick passes. So, I mean, anything could happen. I think Tyler Huntley could be just fine. I don't know if he's going to play this upcoming weekend, but because they got Seattle, but we'll see what happens.
I think they'll probably roll with Skylar Thompson this week to kind of let Tyler Huntley get like all the intel and play calls and everything, because only a week is not a lot of time to get your install and everything.
Like Miami.
Especially being the quarterback, like learning plays and everything. And Miami's offensive scheme is very like motion heavy, a lot of like trick stuff. So I think Skylar Thompson will probably be in there.
Kind of moving forward to Sunday slate. Main question: we kind of talked about this in week 1 when the Saints beat Carolina. Beat Dallas on the road convincingly. Kamara 4 touchdowns. We've already heard everything about the game. The main question I have is: are they legit?
I think they could be. Like legit, as in the sense like we're going like winning division winners. I think they could. I think it's very easy. If there was a division to do it, it's in that division. Like the Bucs still look good. I mean, and the Panthers are terrible, and the Falcons, like those are definitely winnable games. All those division games, and I think that's what it could come down to. But yeah, their offense looks amazing. They haven't punted yet, supposedly. That's what it said. It was
15 straight drives, 15 straight scores.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, it's a crazy thing to say for a Derek Carr-led offense. And this was a crazy thing because Dennis Allen was on the hot seat. He was probably first coach to be fired because nobody thought the Saints were going to be good. So, I don't know, good for them, I guess.
It's their OC now.
Who?
Dude from the Niners. I forgot his name.
Dennis Allen's their coach. I'm pretty sure.
But they got a new OC from the 49ers. Yeah.
I don't know his name.
I forgot his name. I think Nick's looking it up right now.
Clint Kubiak.
Yes,
there you go.
From the Niners. Yeah. So he came and completely. This is why scheme is so important in the NFL. They were dead last in just motion in general last year. Now they are using it more than ever, more than any team in the league from what I've seen so far this year, and it completely changed their entire scheme. They're not that entire Niners system that a bunch of different teams use now in the league is like made to make the job easier on the QB. And when they have a run game like Kamara that can catch passes as well, you have 2 dynamic receivers in Olave and Sheed, and then you have a good defense. And like I don't even think Lattimore played against the Cowboys, and he hasn't played in the first 2 games. So their defense is already looking very, very good. So like if they can keep it up, and they play the Eagles, whose secondary is hit or miss, so there could be another game this week against the Eagles where they put up another high-scoring game.
I would say if they put up a high-scoring game against the Eagles and like convincingly handle them, like they're definitely there. Like the Saints, they can definitely be contenders. Like I feel like they're gonna fight for the division and everything. Like I'm thinking like 9-8 area, like 10-7 area.
Yeah.
And they could sneak into the playoffs. It's very possible. It just depends on if you can keep it up and how injuries start.
It's going to be interesting because they don't really have the hardest schedule in the world. So we're like you can say the Dallas Cowboys in this Eagles game, and I know they play the Chiefs down the line, are like going to be the toughest games on their schedule.
Yep.
Like, and all those division games are very winnable, legit in terms of Because there's not a lot of like strong teams in the NFC right now.
They could definitely be a contender in the NFC.
Yes.
Do I think they go like a run in the playoffs? Like probably not.
Yeah.
I think when you start to run into like those teams like the Lions and like all these better teams, like you'll probably like if they run into like the 49ers, I think that would be a really good matchup. Like it'd be very interesting. Also, Derek Carr is your quarterback, so like you really never know what Carr you're gonna get. So
I think they're putting him in better positions to where like he's able to take shots downfield.
Oh yeah.
But the play action game is working so well because you have Kamara. But like the check down option with Kamara, and then like they just have so many different they're just offense in general is more creative this year than it was last year, and it seems like Derek Carr's having an easier time adapting to all that. But I mean that's really I think I can see divisional. If they win the division and get like so say they get the 4 seed and they get that 5 seed matchup, like, and say they play the Cowboys or Eagles because they would probably have the best record out of that point. Like, they've already proven they could beat the Cowboys. I think they can beat the Eagles. So like, I don't know.
Their offensive line is playing a lot better than anyone expected coming into the year, and that's really fueling their running game. And then like you said, they're playing the play action right off that really well. Offensive motion. They're playing like the same offense that like the whole NFC plays. The Niners, the Eagles, the Lions, they all run a very similar offense. And he's running the same one. So it's a little, if we wanted to go to the other side of the game, it's a little scary for the Cowboys, seeing that we couldn't do anything with this Saints offense whatsoever.
Same offense that the Niners run. Same like with the Eagles in a certain way. Like all these teams that just run the ball.
Run the same offense.
Yeah.
Like, Cowboys look bad, man.
You can go ahead and start on the Cowboys. You can go ahead.
I'm gonna keep it concise. I mean, defense obviously just looked soft and terrible. Couldn't get any sort of pass rush. I think we had like 2 QB pressures or something like that, or something really low compared to last week.
And you're supposed to pay that one guy.
Oof. Oh my! Don't even get me started. I don't even want to go on a tangent about him. But like, really looked bad. But the scarier part is the fact that the offense just couldn't get the ball down the field, like more than 15 yards. We had the good drive early in the game with the CD touchdown, but after that, we just couldn't do anything. The fact that we can't get a run game going, like, you're not going to be able to build an offense with no solid run game. We're trying to get little Deuce Vaughn. I might as well be running the football. If Deuce Vaughn's running the football.
Little Deuce Vaughn.
So, like, I don't know. I'm a little scared. I think we need to figure something out on, obviously, both sides of the ball. But it's bad, man.
Especially having the Ravens next week.
Yeah, that's going to be if Derrick Henry runs like, because Derrick Henry's looked bad this year so far.
Right.
If he looks like old Derrick Henry,
bad in Derrick Henry terms, because like he didn't have if you look at the stat line, like if you just look at the stat line, he didn't look bad. I mean, it was like 16 carries for like 90 yards and a tud, and then he did really look bad in the Chiefs game. But I think like he'll get it going eventually. Like I think he'll get it going.
We're the ones that get him going.
Yeah, if there was a defense for him to run on, it's them. Especially because y'all didn't call him in the offseason, so he's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, he is pissed.
The Cowboys are just not a team that can play well from behind. They're phenomenal playing with the lead.
Like, we're kicking so many field goals.
Brandon Aubrey.
And that's fine to be putting points on the board, but you can't settle for field goals when the team is going down and scoring in 4 plays.
Exactly. Like, you just can't let it happen.
Because we always talk about this, like, I feel like there's one morning during the weekend, it's usually like Monday mornings or Tuesday mornings where we just get active in the group chat about the
probably Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Tuesdays usually where we get going.
We were talking about Cowboys, and we were talking about the defense. I think it's like a 60-40, 70-30 split in favor of the defense being the problem, because I understand not being able to push the ball downfield, which is what happened against the Saints, which is kind of what happened against the Packers, looking at those 2 games, because it's kind of the same thing that happened in those 2 games. The defense was just absolutely getting carved.
Yeah.
And it's 2 different defensive coordinators with Dan Quinn and now Zimmer, and the same thing happened. At some point when you're looking at it, has to just be personnel.
It's not the X's and O's, it's the Joe's and Schmoes.
Yeah, it's
Jimmy's and Joe's.
It's the personnel.
No, it is.
Like,
well, when you do nothing in the offseason to like bolster up your defense, and you lose your coach, and then you do nothing in free agency for your offense, like I'm not shocked that this happens. Maybe Jerry what's his fucking name? Jerry Jones. He'll fucking be like, hey, maybe we should go, like, get more people. Maybe we should go get players. Maybe we should do something.
You just can't do nothing you can't do shit with the run, and then your generational defensive talent can be neutralized. You never see TJ Watt ever neutralized. Same with Myles Garrett.
Nick Bosa and them, Bosa.
Like, the conversation that he is up there with, I feel like Micah Parsons is just getting shut down in big spots all the time.
On the most important play of the game, I see him just fall down.
Yeah.
Just trip. $30 million right there.
But it's gonna be super interesting because here's what's gonna happen. You guys are gonna play a subpar team. Ravens, I'm not saying this is gonna happen against the Ravens. They're gonna play a subpar team, and all of a sudden Micah Parsons 4 sacks, and it's gonna be like a bunch of QB pressures by Parsons, and then they're gonna look at that to where what happened in the game against the Packers where you did nothing? What happened in the game against the Saints where the defense, you're the leader of the defense, did nothing?
It's like you can't even put Micah up there with like Myles Garrett or like a Bosa or TJ Watt because like those players like literally change games. Like those guys like I watched last year Myles Garrett almost single-handedly win a game. Yeah. Like TJ Watt does that.
TJ Watt did that in week 1
He did that for the Falcons. Like he will single-handedly like Nick Bosa. Like he doesn't really have to do it that much just because their offenses are different. But like he will change the game. If he needs the game to end, he's going to go end the game.
With the Niners, it's more so you look at like Fred Warner changing the game.
Like it's just you got to find. I'm just talking D linemen in general, but like there's just this. These got to be a certain echelon of guys that Micah Parsons can't like. And if he's getting neutralized like this in big moments, like you're not going to get talked about like that. And you're on a contract. You're trying to get a contract extension, man. Now the Cowboys are going to look at that and be like, well, you're not really putting up the numbers that we think you should be putting up. And like, so why do you think you deserve this? So that's why I think, I don't know. I think you guys probably let Micah walk.
That's heat. I like that.
And he's not that he would be a free agent the following season.
Yeah,
not this one. Next one.
Yeah, I'd say not this one.
Yeah, next one.
I can't have really any argument or disagree with how much work the roster does need. Because you see, like, even it comes to the point on offense, the Dak and CD connection isn't enough, especially when you don't have a run game. We saw that eventually, because all they're going to do, teams are going to do, is just put one over the top of CD and put press man on him.
And then you have Brandon Cooks as your number 2.
Yeah, so
and he
just doesn't get open.
He doesn't get open, and you have, like, nobody else.
Jalen Tolbert had a really nice catch.
Ferguson didn't play.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
Sure, Ferguson's out.
I mean, just me thinking about this now, I know the Cowboys are not going to do something like this, but, like, if I'm looking at the Cowboys, you need to go get some more pieces on offense just to be targets. I think they need to, like...
This has been their problem all along.
Like,
ever since they got CD, this has been their problem.
Like, if I'm them, I'm looking at a place like Carolina.
Deontay Johnson.
Like, seeing if you can get him or Thielen for the low. Like, maybe you can make something happen with that because Brandon Cooks obviously isn't in. I know Adam Thielen's older, but last year we saw Adam Thielen be able to still create separation. Like, even Deontay Johnson, you put them with good pieces.
You have to have...
Also the good slot receiver.
Like, if you have a superstar receiver, you have to have a good number 2.
Yes.
Like, just in case. Like, almost every team has it. Like, you just can't have... Or someone needs to, like, step up, like, for the Cowboys. Like, someone needs, like, Jalen Tolbert or, like, someone like that. Someone on the bench needs to be like, all right, I can be a number 2, like, just in case. And I think that would be Ferguson, but
he's hurt.
He is hurt right now. So and Luke Schoonmaker or whatever his name isn't going to do it.
I just think they could be active in terms of trade market because
but you also got to think of who we're talking about.
Yes, we're also talking about the
Jerry Jones.
Yes.
He's not going to make any trades.
He's not going to do that.
He's not going to sign anybody. I mean,
but that's the offense they should be looking at.
The offense has problems. I mean, do you have 2 rookie tackles?
Yes.
2 rookie tackles. You have no running back. You let supposedly your best running back go this season. And he's on the Titans
Pollard
now.
wasn't good, but
at least he can run the ball with him.
Yes.
And I think he would be helping them a lot right now, I think.
I think so, too.
He was just a dual threat. He can get out in the receiving game. He could carry the ball.
I'm seeing Rico
15,
Dowdle
20.
get fucking thrown in there. Zeke. Now Dalvin Cook is still on the practice squad, but I don't know if he's going to get called up. Like, I don't know. And then the defense just looked like shit. You guys your linebackers has been dead ever since LVE retired. Like,
they're very top heavy.
The Cowboys are very weird.
Yeah, they're very top heavy.
They confuse me.
So,
yeah.
I mean, going into the next, we can go into a benching. After Dave Canales said that Bryce Young is our quarterback, not even 24 hours later, he gets benched. I feel like that was an upper
that was
management.
Definitely a GM
yes,
call.
That was definitely a GM call. Thoughts on this? This is another thing we kind of talked about in the group chat with him getting benched.
I mean, fuck. Like, it just sucks. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I thought they were gonna do it eventually, just because of how bad it's been. Like, he didn't play well last year. Like, now he's going into his second year, and you see you're 2 games in now, and the dude can barely throw for over 150 yards. Like, he's throwing picks, and like they're not winning games, or they're not even in games. So it makes sense, but three games into the season, I think is a little steep.
Yeah.
But you throw Andy Dalton in there. I mean,
I just don't see it
it's
getting
much
better.
going to change.
I don't see it getting better.
I think that it's going to
marginally better.
The offense is going to look different, just because I know Andy Dalton's a veteran. He'll get the ball out faster and everything. Right. Like, but yeah, it's not going to like putting Andy Dalton's not going to like win them games. I think they know that.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting. If I had to go on the record, I would say it's probably Bryce Young's last year in Carolina. I think they're going to go 2 years with Bryce and figure out that this isn't it, and they're going to try to right their wrong, and they're going to maybe try to take another quarterback and be like, okay, like, we're going to move on from Bryce, and I think Bryce Young can just go back up someone somewhere.
You think it's kind of like he goes into the realm of like a Sam Darnold, Baker realm where he...
Even like a Fields realm. Like, you have a guy, like, you have a young guy who, like, okay, like, we drafted you pretty high. Like, we want you to be the guy, but you're just not showing it. Mm-hmm. But then if we have the chance to get this said other guy, like, we're going to go get said other guy.
Right.
And I think they're going to end up trading him. I think he's going to go to somewhere. I think he should sit behind someone. He's only fucking 21 years old or 22 years old. Like,
here's kind of my stance on it. I think it's looking like a Fields, Baker, Darnold situation to where he's putting a bad infrastructure, a franchise that obviously has no idea what they're doing with quarterbacks. Yeah. From what you've seen in the past.
No weapons,
no O-line, no run game, and it doesn't help that the defense is also shit. So you're looking at this in terms of, I think it could be where you trade him, a team takes a shot on him, he's a backup for a year, sits behind some veteran, and they're looking at Bryce Young to possibly be like what the Steelers using. Fields has kind of the future because he's still on the rookie contract. He goes somewhere behind a good offensive mind.
And, like, sorry to cut you off, but, like, I was thinking, go to the Rams.
Yes.
I think the Rams might be, like, the perfect spot for Bryce Young.
You saw what Baker did.
You sit right behind Stafford. I don't know how many more years Stafford has left. Maybe 2 years, 3 years. Like, and then you get your chance. You get in there and you try.
Right.
Like, and then at that point, you've been, like, waiting. You've been kind of watching everything. Like, I don't know. I think it's just a good spot to go. You'd still have Puka. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do in like 2-3 years.
Right.
But like, it's just looking for the future. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. Do you want to go sit behind Brock Purdy? Like, do you want to go sit behind a team that you can learn from, but then maybe stay there?
See, that's...
Like, I don't know. Do you want to start? What do you want to do?
I think best case scenario is for him to kind of be that backup role for a veteran. Maybe not Purdy in that situation. Purdy is also still really young. Mm-hmm. But like, looking at the Rams situation, and who knows what they're looking like in 2 to 3 years, and he still has 3 more years after this on his contract with the 5th year. So looking at that, that's interesting. We talked about it right before we started the pod. Miami, depending on what situation they end up in, because you brought that up as well. But he just signed a bag, and we also don't think Tua is retiring anytime soon.
Yeah, but like if he gets like that medical like retire, like hey, like you're actually gonna be like forced to retire. Like we're gonna make you retire. You're not gonna play. So like maybe you look at Carolina. You're like, okay, do you guys want to like right your wrong? Like you're obviously already out on him if you're benching him. Mm-hmm. Like you can come over to Miami and you can start right away. And we're gonna give you a really good O-line, and we're gonna give you weapons, and that's about it.
I just think it's a confidence killer at this point. I think he needs to get out of Carolina to rebuild his confidence, because I feel like the confidence in Carolina is just dead now.
Oh yeah, I mean they're terrible.
Go ahead, Nick.
I see where you're both coming from. I just don't think Bryce Young is any good. He is as small as Kyler Murray and is not athletic. He can't see over the offensive line, and even when he does get a throw off, he isn't very accurate. And I'm all right with him. You know, I also think this is too early. I don't think he should have been benched this early. I think he should have at least gotten like 5 or 6 games into the year so we can at least get a good sample size of it. But I just honestly think it was the worst pick. I know at the time in college he looked really good. He was
consensus out of the draft. Yeah.
Like, I get it. He just doesn't fit the mold of an NFL quarterback, I don't think. I think if you're going to be that small, you have to have the ability to rush or get out of the pocket and to have escapability, and he just doesn't have that. He doesn't have the throw on the move, on the run. And he'd be fine. Yeah, give him a few years somewhere else. I just sadly don't think it's going to work for him anywhere.
See, this can kind of get us into our next thing because it's kind of talking about two of the same things. I agree, I get with all points about this entire discussion about Bryce Young. I get every single point. I just think when you look at the track record from organizations, it doesn't miss. When you look at the Jets have been terrible at developing quarterbacks. Same with the Bears. Same with the Panthers.
Browns.
And look at Browns. Look at exactly what's going on with the Bears right now. This kind of gets us right into talking about the Bears on Sunday night.
Yeah.
It's the scheming. They have no fucking idea what they are doing with Caleb Williams. You can obviously tell. I know they have a new OC. It seems like the offense is still looking like they have Justin Fields at quarterback.
It just looks the same. It looks like they didn't even change the scheme at all.
No.
Like we get a new OC. We get a new OC, and it looks the same. Like the offense looks exactly the same. I can't say that it's the same with Justin Fields because like we had literally designed runs for Justin Fields and everything. We don't have that for him.
Right.
But like it's just I'm seeing a lot of like just very dumb play calls on downs that like you're supposed to just do the right thing.
Right.
Like 3rd and 1, like I could probably throw my house on that we're gonna go Swift up the gut for 1 yard, and you can know that like, and I know the O line's not gonna block. Like we're not gonna get that first down, but like it's just like we don't do anything that like catches teams off guard or anything, or like we just run such a steady offense that like they just know that what we're doing. Like it's run pass punt. Like that's literally what we do. And
if we know this, I know the other teams.
That's what I mean. Like I'm sitting here. If I'm sitting here and then like looking from the Texans side, they're like, okay, this O line is god awful. Our O line is probably the worst in football right now, besides the Panthers. I think we had the lowest PFF grade for every position on our line, which is fucking insane. And they're only rushing. They are only rushing a 4-man front. I get it. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. Why are we getting sacked from guys coming right up the gut? Like, my 2 tackles are dealing with the best players on the defensive side. Yeah, they're going to get beat eventually here and there. Like, he got blindsided on the 1 hit. Cool. But getting sacked 8 times is kind of a problem in one game. And then when you figure that out, then you start throwing the blitzes at them. So then they're like, they're doing swim moves and motion and wrapping around. And our O-line just had no fucking idea what was going on. Like, I can't even blame... I can't blame Caleb just because he has no time to do anything. I will blame him on that fucking first interception he threw. It looked cool, for sure. But fire. It looked pretty cool thrown into triple coverage. I was like, good job. To Cole Kmet, top 10 tight end, though. But, yeah,
Breaking news.
Oh, no.
Tua will be being placed on IR.
Minimum for the season?
4 games.
That's fair.
Okay.
That you can go ahead and continue.
Right,
that just happened.
Just going off of the Texans game, like, Caleb made some good throws. He did whatever. He tried to get out of the pocket when he could. But, I mean, were we ever going to win that game? I don't think so. But the chance was there.
Yeah.
The chance was definitely there, too. Just our O-line.
you had the ball to go make a drive.
And you could tell he missed a lot of throws. I mean, he made some good throws. DJ Moore was very upset, and he is someone who does not get upset. Like, he's usually cool. He's like, I just go out there and ball.
But if I'm DJ Moore, I'm not getting mad at Caleb Williams. I'm getting mad at the scheme in general. I understand Keenan Allen didn't play, and Keenan Allen is somebody who can be a safety valve for Caleb Williams because he can just knows how to create separation. But it's just like, I think Caleb Williams is kind of in his own head a little bit, and I think you see how he played in college, and I think they're trying to transform his entire game to play right now. And he's pocket passer. That's what they want him to be. But he can do so much more than that.
So he's played 2 games now he's played a very like underrated Titans defense. I'd say they're very underrated, and a pretty good defense in Houston.
Yeah.
And Houston, like I don't know. It's very hard to like talk about it. Like I can't I'm not gonna be like, oh, he fucking sucks. Like blah blah blah. Like I know like all the old heads that are doing right now because we've already talked about this a million times. Nowadays with the internet, like you have to be good right now, otherwise you suck.
Right.
Like that's usually what everybody thinks. So I don't know. It just give him time, brother. He's fucking 21 years old or 22 years old, and he is in his 2nd NFL game ever. Like, come on.
See, I'm on that stance. Give him time. But my whole problem is never with Caleb Williams.
Oh, no.
My whole problem is, like, this is the same shit we saw with Trubisky, the same shit we saw with Fields. Like, there is no change with what the Chicago Bears are doing at the quarterback position. There's no change at all. Yes, you went out and got weapons. You went out and gave him a running game. But it doesn't matter because you can't fucking protect him.
Which is crazy because we were, like, one of the top running teams in the NFL last season.
Yes,
like,
it showed the graphic when we were watching
with our running, not even just because Fields would run so much, but Khalil Herbert, like, damn near almost rushed for 1,000 yards last season. Like, it was pretty crazy. And then now that we have Swift, we're going, like, we're out of the shotgun a lot. And I do not like that. I don't think I ever see Caleb under center. And I think that they think that that's going to, like, help us with him being able to be, like, an improviser and stuff. But I don't know. It's very it'll be interesting to see what we do against the Colts, considering they have a very mediocre defense. Mm-hmm. And they just got, I'm not going to say torn up by Malik Willis, but Josh Jacobs ran all over them. So I don't know. It'll be very, very interesting. I'm not going to be out on Caleb until I see some, like, egregious shit. Like,
I also think obviously it'll be helpful when everybody's healthy. Getting Keenan Allen back, Odunze being 100%.
Rome played every snap.
Yeah, I did
which is insane.
He wasn't 100%.
No
right?
way.
So
yeah, there's no way.
You like get Cole Kmet more involved.
Yeah, now that Cole Kmet's not doing anything.
Why are we forcing Gerald Everett to be an option?
He's missing blocks. I'll tell you that.
I just think you have. We always make the joke top 10, top 15 tight.
He is. He's top
But you
10.
have Cole Kmet, who's a big body target that can make plays and can be a safety valve. But I just feel like I said, I just think it's a scheme problem. It's like I just think when you look at it, they could win whatever many games they want. I feel like there's never going to be a formula that changes until the scheme is changed. And they're never going to change the scheme, it feels like.
Their scheme's bad. I mean, the O-line's going to be bad. Caleb, they did the clock or whatever. It's like Caleb has 2 seconds to throw the ball. Like, you can't... Like, DJ Moore's probably not even at his break yet and his route before Caleb's actually worried about getting sacked. So, like, it makes sense. Nothing's going to change until the O-line changes, I think.
If the O-line's going to be continuing to be that bad throughout the year, and there's obviously really not much you can do right now to change it, other than hopefully the line just gets better, you need to make it, like, get the ball out fast if the line's going to be that fucking bad. You need to make short throws, short, quick throws, and I'm not talking... fucking wide receiver bubble screens, but like,
oh my god,
like I'm not talking bubble screens and shit like that. But
bubble screen, RPO, all this bullshit. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Either make the ball come out faster from Caleb Williams' standpoint, or you need to try to maneuver him outside of the pocket to force your line up in better positions to block.
I think we need more play action.
Yes.
Like, there's a bunch of stuff that.
But like, it's so predictable because they know when you're going to run the ball.
Oh yeah,
we called the play the whole drive
because fucking
last night.
For some reason, I think we had like 6 false starts. On Monday or Sunday, I was like, what's going on? I was like, no one even knows, like, it's pretty hard when you start every drive fucking, like, 1st and 15 or 1st and 20. Like, I feel like our O-line gets flagged for everything. So it's very, very odd. I know we just kind of went on a rant, but, like, on the good side, we only lost by 6. And then our defense is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, defense is elite.
Our defense is great.
Defense is pretty good.
Love our defense. It's holding C.J. Stroud and them to 1 touchdown? Come on.
That's the bright side of everything. With how bad the offense looked, to be in that game, to have the ball with a chance to go on a drive to win that game.
Which makes me interested for the Colts game because I know our defense is going to hoop on them because their offense looks scary as well. So, and if the Packers defense can do that to AR, I'm interested to see what our defense can do.
I think C.J. Stroud is also way more, obviously him and AR, but like, he's so much more poised in the pocket.
Well, his O-line, he has protection.
Yes.
They protect him. Like,
even when the blitz does come,
they pick it up.
They pick it up. Like, AR, I feel like he's not that poised to where I think you're going to get AR in a lot of situations where, like, he's scrambling when he doesn't really need to have to. I'm not really familiar with all of the Colts O-line, but it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with JT. Obviously, they haven't been able to get Pittman going. Alec Pierce has had a solid fucking 2 games to start. But, like, I don't know. It's just that Colts offense is kind of, like, hasn't really gotten going yet. But it's going to be an interesting matchup because 2 offenses that are kind of haven't gotten going against 2 solid enough defenses. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But to kind of wrap up, like, the Bryce Young and kind of Caleb talk is, like, I just think it's an organizational thing compared to, like, is the quarterback actually bad? Because they obviously have talent. He won the Heisman and everything else like that. But looking at it in the greater lens, look at the track record for the organizations. It's bad. No wonder it hasn't worked because nothing in the organization has changed. That's really all I have to say for it. And then Dave Canales goes out and says that, and then you obviously understand that the ownership went down and said, "Nah, fuck that. We signed you to a 6-year contract. Fuck your decision. We're just gonna do what we want to do."
I also want to make it clear, I don't think this is Dave Canales' fault either.
No. I don't think it is either.
I like Dave Canales a lot, actually.
And if I'm Jonathan Brooks sitting here on IR right now, I'm like, fuck.
I'm like, damn.
I'm like, well, shit. Shit.
I'm like, man. I mean, Thielen can come back and be. I mean,
God, like Thielen, like his price has to be like a 5th-round pick, right? Cowboys. What are we?
Fucking Thielen needs to go to like the Steelers or something.
he can come back home.
God, y'all don't even need him.
He can come back home. No, we do. We do.
Naylor,
Joshua
Naylor, or whatever his name is.
Brandon Powell, man. Jalen Naylor, Brandon Powell. We up.
Here you go.
But that's kind of the next thing is the Vikings. But this kind of goes into like the underdog. This is kind of the question. What was the most surprising underdog win of the weekend? Because there was a lot of them.
The Raiders, I guess.
The Raiders?
Yeah, like what the hell?
I was on this betting episode. For ones that saw the betting episode, I said, you know what? I like Raiders plus 8.5. Did I throw bread on it? No.
Hell no.
No, I didn't. I did not throw bread on it. But man, I said it. I said I liked Raiders plus 8.5. One outright.
I mean, what? This comes back to me saying, like, well, I was just watching such bad ball, like, just from all these teams. The fact that I can pick between, like, 8 games, be like, what was the most surprising one, like, is so crazy.
Most surprising and most impressive, kind of two different conversations.
Most impressive is definitely the Saints. I think that's just from the magnitude of, like, how much they beat them by. And then, like, most, like, what'd you say was the first? It's just most surprising. Yeah, probably just the Raiders, I think. Like, Gardner Minshew going out there and beating the Ravens at home is very crazy.
Is Brock Bowers that guy?
He's pretty good. Brock Bowers is very good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Just traded him in my dynasty, by the way, so that was pretty cool.
Looking at his stats right now. 9 receptions for 98 yards.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams had a day too. 9 receptions for 110. I think you guys are right with the most surprising and most impressive. Very, very interesting weekend though.
I thought the Bucks was pretty impressive too over the Lions at home.
I said 7.5 was too much.
I'm not gonna say that's like.
We agreed on that.
I'm not gonna say that's like impressive.
You don't think so?
But like, because I feel like going into that, like, the Bucks could have easily won that game. Like, they were in the playoff game, like, and everything. I don't think
the gap between Bucks and Lions is that big.
I didn't think it was, like, insane. I don't think it's insane that the Bucks beat the Lions.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think it's insane either. I just kind of want to show them some love. I think it's impressive that they're playing this good through 2 games.
Because most people would have came into the season, they lost their OC. He was the mastermind behind the plan. 2-0 now, so I don't know. Vikings got an upset win.
Vikings was the only thing Vikings wasn't is because they won it last year too. That's the only reason. And
it's been I don't even know how.
I don't think they've ever beat them
in Minnesota
or some shit like. Yeah. They brought up the stat. I don't remember what it was.
It's been since like the 90s.
And then Colts looked like asshole against the.
That's not even an upset.
No, I don't think it's an upset, but it's still like I came on here and I was like, I'm not going to believe the Packers are going to win if Malik Willis is the starter. They won.
Right.
But Josh Jacobs had 32 rushing attempts. And I'm not going to say, like, Malik Willis did not beat the Colts.
Right.
Like, I will not go out. He didn't have to go out there and do anything. Like,
while we're on this, me and you talked about this when we were watching the Chicago game. Nick, so, barrel talk away. I know this is betting part, but since we're on the Colts, a full fade. Colts money line for Connor.
Very humbling.
Colts lose. Nick said it was a lock.
It was
Cowboys
a lock.
-6. A lock.
What was yours?
Colts reverse covered.
What was yours?
Matthew Stafford. Over passing attempts.
You know that didn't happen.
Killed.
You know that didn't happen.
How off was that line?
He gets benched.
27. It was 27. He was around the corner. Wow. That's a close game. He gets it.
Barrel talk. Tune in on Thursdays. Or Saturdays, actually. Tune in on Saturdays.
But no, like, Colts didn't look good at all. I mean, Josh Jacobs, 33 attempts.
So insane. Like, and it makes, like, thinking back, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. They probably were going to lean on him a lot.
Yeah.
Now, did I think, like, 32 attempts? No. I also didn't think they were going to win. So, The Colts are very interesting, considering they go from the Packers to us. And
I'd say the team that made me the most upset was the Jags, losing 18-13 to the Browns.
The Jags suck.
It's over.
Our Jags. Is that done with the term our Jags?
I'm out. I don't know about you. I'm out.
Well, I said
I'm out. I'm fully on the Chargers.
I mean, I don't know what I did to the Rams. Like, I said last week, I was like, Rams. I was like, okay, Puka goes down, Kupp goes down, and now they're 0-2.
Their season's over. It's over.
The Bears play them. We'll probably still lose.
Kind of just, I'm gonna get my shit off about the Vikings because right before the game started, I texted Nick. I was like, "We're winning this football game." I mean,
did you put money on that?
Hell no.
In the pick'ems, I'm the only one in the pick'ems.
He did pick the Vikings.
I did pick the Vikings in the pick'ems, and I was one of the only people that picked Tampa to beat the Lions in the pick'ems. Yep. But looking at it, I mean, the defensive scheme just gave Purdy troubles last year. Same thing this year. Like, once you're able to actually get pressure, and I know it's easier said than done with the Niners O-line being as what it is, if you can get pressure to the Brock Purdy,
I wish.
You see he gets rattled. And obviously, like last year, they didn't have CMC. Debo had a game. You can't do nothing with Debo, middle of the field, stuff like that. Ayuk was really in straps all game long. Darnold had the one bad interception, kind of bad on both sides, him and the receiver. But looking at that, the bomb to Jefferson, just a beauty in your own end zone.
I saw the replay. He had Naylor as well.
Yeah.
Like, he could have gone to either one of them, and he was probably fucking scoring.
And then Naylor runs across the field to get the lead block for Justin Jefferson to score a touchdown. But what really impressed me with this, I know I'm a fan, so somewhat biased, but really impressed me, like, even if we won, the drive where Jefferson wasn't in the game with the quad contusion, no Hawkinson, no Jordan Addison, no Aaron Jones, Sam Darnold, pretty much the drive to go put the game away. When the Niners are low-key grabbing momentum, like, you go down, hit Jalen Naylor up the middle, and you get the chunk plays that you need, and you go down and get a field goal, and then your defense gets the stop to win the game. Like, doing that,
you know what he was probably thinking during all this? Oh my God, I did this in practice.
Yeah.
Like, just last year, I was practicing against this defense, this exact defense, and I'd say Sam Darnold's probably smart enough to figure out, hey, I know how to beat this. Like, I know exactly what scheme they run. So I could almost make that as an excuse. I could almost make that an excuse. Be like, he literally cheated.
Right.
Like, he knows their defense. Like, he was just with their defense fucking 6 months ago.
This game would have looked so much worse for the Niners if it wasn't for Fred Warner. Because he got the pick off Sam Darnold, and he also got the poke out at the goal line from Aaron Jones. So he was the only reason this game was even relatively close.
The Niners game could have been a blowout.
Yes. Ty Chandler was great in that final drive. Ty Chandler, 10 carries, 82 yards. Like,
did Aaron Jones get hurt?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was fine, though. It was like nothing crazy. Same with Jefferson. They're both fine, but they were out for that one drive to go close the game. I just think it's more of like a confidence builder for Sam Darnold. Like, now he did this against the Giants. They're going to say, oh, it was the Giants.
Yeah.
You did it against the most talented team money can buy in all of football against the Niners.
I got my other excuse.
Yeah. So looking at that, I think this is just a confidence building win. I had to get my shit off.
Yep.
Oh. Don't let us beat Houston next week.
You guys beat Houston next week, I'd be shocked. I'd be like, wow.
Then we're really talking.
Then we're really talking.
Then we're talking.
Then we're like, all right, they've beaten two powerhouses. Like, this is Sam Darnold doing something great right now. But this is what he looks like in 2021.
Yeah.
With Carolina, first 4 games, he led the league in rushing touchdowns or something. And I think Carolina started 3-1 or something, or they were doing really good on offense, and then they took a 5-game skid or 6-game skid, and Sam Darnold ended up being benched at some point.
Right.
So you can get the good and you can get the bad with Sam Darnold. And we're getting the good right now. I hope the bad doesn't come because this is the best weapons he's ever had around him.
Yeah.
And you're only going to get Hawk back soon. So it'll be very interesting. I just want to
see this team
compete.
No, I just want to see this team what it looks like fully healthy.
Oh, yeah.
What does it look like when we have everybody offensively? How good does our offense look? Because our defense, I think our defense is top 8 to 10 in the league right now. I think our defense, with how our scheme is, we can get after the quarterback. And I'm just intrigued about if it gets to the point where like we're competing for the division down the line, what does our offense look like fully healthy? That's my main kind of look at point with this game, because we were able to do it with a non-healthy offense. So what does it look like when they do bring a healthy offense back as well? Next thing, Justin Fields moves to 2-0.
Good job, man.
I think I'm on the train.
I'm glad you can go 2-0 having a top 3 defense. Good job, man.
I'm almost getting a little bit of hate.
Huh?
Almost getting a little bit of hate. Nick, are you getting a little bit of hate?
From me?
I heard
From
that.
from Connor? Just a tad bit of hate.
No, because everybody is it like what you had on the TV is like, is him being 2-0 impressive? No, it's not impressive.
Oh no, it's not.
They have one fucking offensive touchdown on the season, and they're 2-0. If we have one offensive touchdown, we're 1-1. And they played Denver last week, and they only won by a touchdown. Like what I'm seeing from Fields is he's being a typical Justin Fields quarterback right now. He's showing no improvement of I'm not gonna say no improvement of throwing the ball. He had that pretty ball to Pickens on the sideline that got called back. He's throwing the ball more, but I'm not seeing like a crazy amount of improvement from him as a player. I think that he's just getting in good situations from his defense that is always gonna get a stop or that's always gonna get a turnover. Like, I don't know. And he can't even punch him in the end zone. Like, I get the Steelers' offense is bad, but whatever. They're 2-0, so I can't like
Sole leader of the division.
Sole leader of the division. You got Ravens are 0-2, Browns and fucking Bengals are 0-2.
Browns are 1-1.
So good on them, but I'm not in on Fields yet until I see something.
I mean, looking at the stat line, 13 for 20, 117 yards, 1 tutty, rush for 27, but
like you're hardly over 100 yards.
it's looking like it's more of a scheme thing, and I'm not saying the Steelers offense is just riddled with talent in the receiver core. You have Pickens, you have Freiermuth, but like more so looking at it, and Pickens had to deal with Surtain all game, so like that really limited you throwing the ball at times. Like, but it's more so a scheme thing rather than like I'm looking at his stat line. But like if he's going to continue to go out here and win games like this and kind of keep the ball out of harm's way, I can't really say it's not impressive, because if they're gonna be in a spot where they're like,
I would argue that he's not the one winning the games.
Okay.
That's what I would argue.
Okay.
He can start. He's going to get the win. Like, you're going to get the record and everything. You're going to be the one handing the ball off and throwing the ball. But you're not the reason the game is, like, you're not the reason we're winning these games. Like, that's especially for the Denver game. I don't think he's the reason that they won.
So, looking at the next...
Even the Falcons game, you could say that their kicker was the reason that they won. Like, I don't know. It's just very, very odd.
I'm not going to put that one on him, because he probably knew, like, a day before that he was going to play. The next couple, they got the Chargers this weekend at home.
Really good game.
Then you got Colts, and then you got the Cowboys. So those are their next 3. But I mean, if he continues to win,
I mean, like, it's not impressive, but it's also like not.
He's just winning.
He's just winning. Like he's like you're just winning.
The ball over.
No, he's not turning the ball over, so that's good. Like he's just doing.
Yeah,
he's just doing the job.
Yeah.
At this point, like he's not like exceeding or like he's not doing anything bad. Like, but yeah, so it's just very. I don't know. There might be a little hate coming, but it's just. I don't know. I just think people are over.
The Steelers' biggest hater.
I just think people are overreacting.
Okay. He needs that one solidifying game.
Yeah, and it definitely won't be next week because they play the fucking Chargers. But from you guys, the Chargers should beat them.
Should.
I'm gonna be the biggest Steelers fan on Sunday.
Well, you know what do the Steelers do? Run the football. What the Cowboys can't do? Stop the run. So
we'll see.
My king Justin Herbert did get hurt in week 2.
Of course he did.
He'll be fine. Kind of going into something we've talked about. You know, the Chargers are me and Nick's team this year. Another one of our teams. Jags. Nick, are we cooked? Is it over?
Oh, it's over.
Yeah, you said you were out. You said you were out already.
I'm out.
You were out already.
We're out.
You're
0-2, and you saw 0-2, and you saw the stretch of games we're about to get.
See, let's go over the stretch of games. Buffalo Monday night.
Monday night.
Yep, next Monday. That's a loss. Texans on the road.
Loss.
Colts at home.
Loss.
That's a win.
Actually, that might be a win. The Colts are scary.
Bears at Bears.
Loss.
Oh my God.
London game.
Yeah, see, it's not. It's not at Bears.
So
London saves them there.
So we're 2-4. Patriots in London. 3 and 4.
The Patriots are playing everyone so hard.
3 and 4. Packers.
Loss.
At home.
Jordan Love's back.
Loss.
3 and 5. Oh, it's over.
Oh, it's over.
Then you got Eagles, Vikings, Lions, second. Yeah, it's over.
Oh my!
Wrap it up.
Hey,
say goodnight.
Go get that. Go get a good pick.
Go get that good pick.
Go get a good pick.
Is that what the mindset is now?
Hell yeah! Go get a receiver.
Doug Peterson, you're gone.
Go get a better receiver.
You're gone. Christian Kirk's time in Jacksonville might be over.
I had more receiving yards than Christian Kirk this week.
Yeah.
That's a Nick.
It's just what I do.
That's a Nick said.
But the Browns' defense is stout. Bad weather.
No bad weather. It's beautiful.
It's just like, yeah, the defense is good, but like 10 points, bro. 13 points.
Man.
Let me go to the stats.
It's not even that though. Like they just again find ways to lose games.
I don't know.
Like,
Trevor Lawrence had
Trevor
Lawrence had 17 yards for like so long. Like he could not do anything.
So this is wicked. The Jags had more total yards, passing yards, rushing yards, and yards per play, and they still lost.
Yeah, how are we losing?
The Browns were 2 of 14 on third down. The Jags had more first downs, more sacks. The Browns punted the ball more. The Browns had 100 yards in penalties.
Oh my god.
No interceptions. The Browns had 34 minutes with the ball compared to 25 with the Jags, and the Jags still lost. 18-13.
Yeah, the Jags.
They just find ways to lose games.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm out.
I don't really know what to say about the Jags anymore.
I'm not out on Trevor Lawrence. I am out on the Jags.
Yeah, me too.
14 of 30, 220, no tuds.
We got Trevor Walker and Josh Allen. We can't get a pass rush.
Well, how many?
Is Trayvon Walker a bust?
Should have been Hutchinson, huh?
It should have been Hutchinson.
Oh, it definitely should have been.
If we were talking into number one pick bus, yes.
Okay. Yeah, we're out on the Jags. I mean, I don't think the Jags will ever get mentioned back again on this podcast this year.
We are the Chargers.
We are the Chargers. Chargers will always get a segment on this podcast.
My king, Justin Herbert.
Right. 2-0.
Whether it's for good or bad.
Yep. This is more of a question. Which team are you more worried about / which team is going to miss the playoffs? Out of the Bengals and Ravens in that division, both are 0-2 now. Statistically, this is a death sentence at this point.
I'm definitely more worried about the Ravens. You were just in the AFC Championship, and now we're coming out starting 0-2. You played the Chiefs week 1, whatever. You lose that game. Then you're bounce back spot against the Raiders. At home nonetheless.
8.5 spread.
And you go out, and you're up by 10 starting the fourth quarter, and you lose that game. That is crazy. I can't even believe that they lost that game. It's almost like them and the Bengals are in the same spot. Just you both got a loss from the Chiefs, whatever, and then you came out and lost to some dog shit team. Why? Just with the Bengals losing to the Pats in week 1. The Bengals don't have T. Higgins. That's the only excuse I can make for them. Be they don't have T. Higgins. Their defense is bleh. Whatever.
They were in that game.
And they got kind of screwed on a PI at the end, which is Chiefs lore, like usual.
But I'm not putting it on that anymore.
Fuck it. No, it's not.
But that pick, though.
Pick was cool.
The pick was cool.
Just for Joe Burrow to get strip sacked the next play. That was pretty cool. Yeah, but I'm more worried about the Ravens, just from how far I think the Ravens can go, and how they're Super Bowl contenders, and there's no reason for them to be starting 0-2.
I'm definitely more worried about the Bengals, for sure. I've been worried about them. Last week I talked about how much I was worried about them. But then again, they are known for starting slow and figuring it out at the end of the season. I just think the Ravens are going to figure it out. I think they're going to get their scheme together. I think Lamar's going to play better. I agree. I don't know how they lost that game. Just atrocious play by the defense. I think they're really missing Mike McDonald or whatever his name is, their DC that left. But I think they're going to figure it out. I do. I think hopefully Derrick Henry will get better throughout the year. But like you said, Connor, I guess he was better than what I've been seeing.
I'm in the middle of both. Because when you're looking at AFC picture, these are the two teams that people say have the best shot to beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs beat them both.
Yeah.
In the first 2 weeks of the season, while both of these teams are 0-2. So it's very interesting to see. And then you see a team that is in Buffalo that's 2-0, who's kind of going under the radar a little bit. But looking at this, I'm more worried about the Ravens because it's kind of just... Their offense is just so stagnant.
The Ravens are just too good to be doing this shit.
Yes, their offense is too stagnant. They have too much talent on the offensive side of the ball to be running the kind of offense they're running. It's just like everything is so like it's kind of like the Bears in a sense, but not on that level to where like, wow, the Ravens have the ball right here, middle of the field. I wonder what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna do.
And they played a team in the Raiders who were able to stop the run a little bit, and you have Max Crosby who can muck the game up, and you still have a Raiders offense that has a lot of talent on it to where like if they were able to put up points, what are the Ravens gonna do? The Ravens are like the Cowboys to where like they play phenomenal when they are ahead, but when they are behind, they don't have the offense like the Cowboys don't to come back in games.
Well, they were ahead. That's the problem. They looked like fucking.
And I think their defense took a step back from last year.
I guess so.
You lose Patrick Queen to the Steelers.
I guess everything took a step back.
Yes, I feel like everything on this team took a massive step back. And I think the Bengals are still banged up. You don't have T. Higgins. You're kind of still trying to figure it out offensively. You play a great game against the Chiefs, which they match up really well with the Chiefs just off familiarity. But it's like, what's the next step for the Bengals? Like, now they're 0-2. The whole excuse thing for them is like, oh, they always start out 0-2. But I'm like, you can't afford to start out 0-2. I mean, like, the Steelers' schedule is easy as fuck for the first part of the year, to where, like, it could be middle of the season. They already have 7 wins on you. Like, that's how it matches up in that division. And the AFC is so talented to where, like, multiple divisions now can send 2 teams.
Yeah.
So now that's the reality that they're looking in. If I had to pick one that's going to miss the playoffs, I'm going to pick the Bengals just because I still think the Ravens have a little bit more. But I think the Ravens I'm less worried about, but I'm still kind of worried about. It's like I'm worried about the Bengals 9 out of 10. Ravens are 8 out of 10.
I'm very worried about both, to be fair. I don't know. 0-2 is crazy for both.
And then the Ravens have the Cowboys next week, and then the Bengals have the Commanders.
On Monday night.
Yeah. Let's actually go look at the Ravens schedule real quick. So they got the Cowboys. Oh, fuck.
I think we've already been over this, but I don't remember.
So, oh, God.
It's when they get in those division games.
Yeah. So they go at Cowboys this upcoming week for week 3.
Yeah.
At home against Buffalo Sunday night. To the Bengals that following week.
Holy shit.
So those are their next 3 games.
Oof.
Then they got Commanders, then you got Bucks and the Browns after those. So that's an interesting one. And then we're looking at the Bengals. A lot easier. Whole lot easier. You got Commanders, then you got the Panthers, then you got the Ravens, then you got the Giants.
The who? What are we talking about?
Bengals.
Oh, Bengals.
Right.
I thought you were still on the Ravens schedule.
Yeah. So I'm more worried about the Ravens.
Oh,
Now
definitely.
that I see the schedule.
Right. And then, like, you have the Browns, and they play the Eagles. So, and the Ravens are still talented. Those are all winnable games for the Ravens, and it's just, I mean, the Bengals are going to pick up 2 easy wins.
Yeah.
So they're going to be 2-2 going into that game at Baltimore, when Baltimore can mess around and be 1-4, 1-3, 0-4, depending on what Buffalo's looking like.
Jeez.
Depending on what the Cowboys look like. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do. But I'm worried about both. More worried about the Ravens with their schedule compared to the Bengals. Now the last one, Monday night. Talk about Monday night.
Good game.
What the deal is with the Eagles.
The Eagles confused
I
me.
think it was the 5th or 6th game in the last 2 years where they've lost in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a big problem. I don't know. Like, I just watched that. The whole game was just so, like, it was very stagnant for the first quarter. And then, like, they started kind of getting in there. And then when Jalen Hurts started to actually run the ball, like, he was scrambling out of the pocket, that's when their offense kind of, like, opened up. And I was like, okay, but that defense, man, it is just so bad. The Eagles' defense just cannot do anything, and I have no idea like what the problem is. Like someone is just always open. Like it's just very confusing. And like the Eagles D line, I think they had like 2 sacks or something. Like barely pressured Kirk all night.
Especially on that last drive.
That last drive he had no pressure. Like the sidelines were just open, which is like very confusing because I know there's a lot of time left, but why would you want them to go to the sideline? In general, like they're trying to get out of bounds. Like you want to keep them in bounds as much as you
They're
can.
just not trying to give up the big play, but those chunk plays are leading
Yeah,
towards.
like he went
not even needing
he went
the big
70
play.
yards in a minute.
Yeah.
Like it's just fucking.
The Eagles were able to get the ball back.
Yeah, like it's so crazy. Like I don't know. And then Drake London runs a crazy route against Darius Slade.
Yeah,
killed him, and then he got a penalty, and it was a 47-yard PAT. Which is crazy,
Yeah.
and he took accountability for it, and he was just like, yeah, I lost myself. He's like, it was my first Monday night game ever, like, and he scored a touchdown. I was like, yeah, so London and Mooney got in the end zone, and look good. That's Darnell Mooney right there. What we saw on that final drive,
Right.
like Kirko was putting it on the money, and then he caught that one pass over C.J. Gardner-Johnson to score a touchdown.
Won 4 of his last 5 primetime games.
Yeah, so maybe the primetime Kirk things are gone.
Just talking about more so the QB pressures from the Eagles defense. I mean, this is what happens when you don't pay Hassan Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
You trade him away, and then Fletcher Cox is no longer there. So both of them.
And I guess Jalen Carter got benched because of he was like late to a team meeting or something.
He got benched.
He got benched. They benched him in like the second half or something.
Oh.
So you were missing. Wow. You only have one guy in there.
And
basically.
then on the last...
It's the other D tackle. I don't remember his name.
On the last drive... Actually, it's funny as we're talking about it now. Cooper DeJean... Somebody got hurt, and Cooper DeJean played his first defensive snap of the year.
Wow.
Towards that final drive.
Yeah. Which is crazy because, like, I don't... like, well, when they were talking about the personnel and stuff that they had out there, I was like, okay, Kavion Mitchell or whatever is Mitchell, like, he's good. He is very good. I see why the Eagles took him. And then, like, they were like Avonte Maddox and Darius Slay. And I was like, okay, I see why Cooper DeJean isn't really playing. Mm-hmm. But, like, you could even mess around and move him to, like, safety or test him out at safety. And, like, because that Blankenship is terrible. He is a really bad, like, I don't know how he's still, like, he gets beat deep all the time. Like, everything in the middle of the field's open. Like, I feel like there's no help. So I think Coop would be definitely a better safety than he would corner in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't understand why he's only playing.
He could legit be a Swiss Army knife for them defensively.
He's not even playing. Yeah, I was like, he doesn't even do like punt returns or anything. Like I don't understand. Very very weird.
I think losing AJ Brown hurts because you have to play a lot differently.
Well, I think the Eagles just got away from themselves. They were able to run the ball so easily in that first half, and then Jalen Hurts kind of like opened up, and then they just stopped running the ball. Like, it was very weird. Like, just because you're losing doesn't mean you can't run the ball. I think teams are forgetting that. Mm-hmm. Like, now I get it if you're down 2 scores in the kind of second half, if you're, like, not running the ball as much. But, like, yeah, like, just run the ball more. They were running the ball so, like, just easily, like, with a lot of outside zones. Like, both teams were running the ball very well. But, like, Saquon was just making, like, plays and everything. And then they booed when he came out of the game. Like, because that's the only way they were running the ball, like, or moving the ball. And it's just very, very weird. Like, Devontae Smith was, like, not involved, but then he was involved. Then he's not involved, then he's involved. Dallas Goedert runs in slow motion and doesn't play football. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
On that last drive when the Eagles got the ball back, he took a shot in triple coverage.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was hoping for, like, a PI or something, but he had Goddard wide open underneath.
Oh, probably.
Like, wide open underneath. Those are the situations where I'm like, Jalen Hurts, just take the easy one.
Yeah, but he's not going to do that.
Yeah, he's just not going to do
none of those young guys are going to do that.
He's not, and I'm looking at it to where, like...
I was looking at it to where, like, you get 8 yards, I win $150.
I'm not...
That's the way I was looking at it.
I'm not worried at all, whatsoever, about the Eagles. Because people are going to get on Sirianni about the play call. When you look at the play, they sent the house.
Yeah.
So it was a great play call to get Saquon Barkley into the flat to just go get the first down. 9 times out of 10, Saquon makes that catch, gets the first down, and the game's over. 9 times out of 10, that happens. You get the situation where it's the worst, the worst 3 things happen for the Eagles. He didn't catch the ball, the clock stopped, and then you gave your defense on the field in the secondary with Kirk
like
Cousins
2 minutes.
With
like,
no pressure.
Yeah.
With no pressure.
So, and it let them have a timeout.
Yes.
They had 1 timeout left. Like, so I think him dropping that pass, like, just ruined everything.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
because then they were able to go across the middle of the field for one play. They did it to Pitts, and he got like 11, and they called timeout. Then it was like 30 yards to Mooney, 25 yards to Mooney. Then it was Drake London for 15 to end the game, basically. Yeah. So, which is so crazy.
Hey, shout out Falcons. I'm a known Sirianni hater, and I think I'm a little worried about the Eagles, just because I think he has a tendency to fuck up in situational football. Yes, Saquon should have caught the ball, and yes, it was a good play call. But like, if you go back, it wasn't a good play call.
If they would have ran it, then the clock would have just kept running.
Well, they would have called timeout. Then
you run it again.
The Falcons would have had no
timeout. If you get the first, the game's over. If you don't get the first, there's a minute left, and they have to go farther.
Oh, I see both sides. I for sure see both sides. But Saquon still got to make that pass. Yeah, he has to make that
exactly.
pass.
And I get it, and I understand. Whatever, you make that play call, then you live with it. But stupid, and I think it's just he has a tendency to lose. Like you said, they lose the most games with 2 minutes left or whatever. He has a tendency to lose these games, and if he's going to keep doing that, and he blamed Kellen Moore this morning for it, because he's like, oh yeah, that wasn't my play call. That was Kellen Moore. So if you want to start something,
it's not even a bad play call. That's the thing. Like if I was a reporter, I'd be like, it wasn't even a bad play. Don't blame him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
blame
think
your player.
Terrible play call.
Like
for that situation, but
Saquon's supposed to be one of the best players in your team. Like blame him.
He has to make that grab.
Yeah. Like,
he has to.
He took accountability for it. He said he was like, I let my team down and everything.
I just think it could become a problem if Nick Sirianni continues to lose these games.
I think it's just a whole.
Because I honestly don't think he's that good of a coach either.
I don't think he's the greatest coach either. But it's just like, there's some times where I'm looking at Jalen Hurts and I'm just like, he's not taking the easy ones. Like, they're another team, kind of like a lot of these NFC teams, that they're phenomenal playing ahead because they can just run the football and drain as much clock as you want. But it comes down to the point where it's like, when you get down, is Jalen Hurts going to make the right decisions to get you back in that ball game?
Yeah.
Like, same kind of with Dak, in a way. I think Dak's better than Hurts, but they have kind of that same problems where, like, do you trust Dak to go down the field and get you back in this game or not? That's kind of what I feel about with Jalen Hurts. Like, you have the talent, but it's just like, they're so much better playing from ahead because you can just hand off. Jalen Hurts is going to scramble, pick up the first down. Like, it's just going to happen, but they don't have the schemes or the game planning to really come from behind, which is what they did on that last drive to try to win the game, and it ended in a pick. And to triple coverage, for some reason, I don't know what he saw. He saw possibly a PI. I don't know. That's the only thing I can really say about it. But Kirko,
that's what we looked good. Falcons' offense looked good.
Yes.
It looked very good.
That was the most loose he's looked all game. I mean, the protection was
Bijan was
phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yes, Bijan was great.
I love watching Bijan play now that he's actually being used.
Drake
London, pretty cool. Drake London looked awesome. Pitts, I mean, I wish he would still get more involved, Pitts, but I mean, he did his part.
Right.
And then Mooney got the touchdown. London got a touchdown.
This is a very big time win.
On the road.
Yes.
Like, big win for the Falcons.
And then they go and play at home against KC, which is going to be an interesting
Sunday night.
I think.
But it's in. Where is it at?
Atlanta.
In Atlanta is better. If it was in KC, I'd be like,
So it'll be very interesting because I feel like Kirk Cousins is going to continuously get more and more healthy and get more and more reps with this team. I feel like that last drive was a prove it to the locker room kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like they brought him here for a reason. He
even said he played like shit. He's like, I got to get better.
And coming off an Achilles, they're talking about him not being able to move. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah, no.
He wasn't really a mobile quarterback to begin with, but that was the most movement I've seen him in the pocket just in general, and he's going to be able to navigate the pocket with the best of them. Well, that's just how he is as a quarterback, so I'm not really too concerned. I feel like he's going to get better and better after weeks, but that division is going to be heating the fuck up. Those divisional games are going to mean
Saints
something for the top three in that division.
Bucks are 2-0, Falcons 1-1 now.
Yes.
Panthers 0-2.
Yeah, so they're all going to get free wins off the Panthers.
Yeah.
It's just like against each other. What does that look like? Can the Bucks sweep the series with the Saints and stuff like that?
It's gonna be a bloodbath when they all play each other. Like it's gonna be all those games are gonna be good.
That's gonna be now that kind of.
And we were talking about the NFC South being like the worst division in football. Like now they're kind of being like, well, no, we're not.
Yeah,
and we might be the most competitive.
Yes. Other than, I still feel like our division, the North is gonna be competitive.
I mean, you got what 2-0, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
That Jordan Love got hurt.
yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what we have. But an interesting week 2, week 3. Who knows what's gonna happen in week 3? It was kind of the week of the underdogs this week, but that is all we have.
Injuries.
Yes, a lot of injuries, sadly. But that is all we really have for this episode of the Barrel Talk Podcast. You guys want to wrap it up there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk Podcast. Hope you tune in to future episodes.
Yes, sir.